Alright, here we go with part 2. We get so focused in on one thing by the government, by each other, by the media, no matter what it is, and that's all anybody talks about. I bet you all the peoples out there that go to church, that's something that's being brought up even by the preachers out there, I bet you. In the churches it's being discussed. And it's really old, and we need to get on other subjects such as gun control. Now there's a lot of friends out there of mine that disagree with me, and like I said, I'm going to touch on it briefly. But for example, the bill that is being proposed for gun control, if it is passed, or if it is, how can I say, modified in such a way to where, okay, they might not have all of it, because you know they're going to make little changes in there, just like they are with the healthcare reform when it's all said and done. But in the gun control thing, which you probably haven't heard of, it's going to pretty much make it damn near impossible for anybody out there that has children below the age of 18 to own a weapon legally. Okay, the way it's worded. Now we are going to have a set of videos because I want it to be read in the entirety. We have it pulled up on another computer, but I want myself and the gods of games in here because we've all had a little group discussion. We actually called and verified it with our local representatives to see if this was real, and it is. And it's really going to have some strict regulations on gun control. Now why is that important? Because you know, you have our Canadian friends out there saying, well, we've had gun control for a long time. Why do you need a weapon? Well, it's for personal peace of mind, first of all. Secondly, it's our Second Amendment rights, our right to own weapons and to bear arms just in case. And thirdly, if I didn't say it first, personal protection. And just because if I want to have one, and it is what our founding fathers told us that we could have, and it's actually in the Bill of Rights, that's the way they want it set up, then you know that's the way it needs to be set up, and that's the way it needs to be. Alright? This is not a democracy, and that's something that everybody out there seems to lose focus on. This country was not built on democracy. This is a republic. I've said this time and time again. This is a government of the people, not a government of the government. If we wanted that, originally, they wouldn't have left King Edward over there to haul ass over here to have their freedom and separate from Europe to make America. Just wouldn't have happened if you wanted a government to run your life. Alright? And you could have all the fancy names, whether it be socialism, fascism, or whatever. That's exactly what you're going to give up if we keep on focusing in on the wrong things and let the important ones, the really important ones, slip through the back door and become law. And that's just a perfect example right there is the gun control bill. And I will probably post a link up right over here for everybody to go have a look at that. Like I said, we're going to go into the detail about that in the future. But it will limit what you can actually do as an owner of a weapon. And pretty much you're going to have it under lock and key with no bullets. And in some cases, you won't be allowed to have bullets in your house. But it will be an exception, as usual, to government officials or the public sector. Military, government, law officials, and I think that's it. Yeah, but anything to do with the government, the law doesn't apply to them. It's written in the last, like, 4 sections. It excludes anybody of power in the government. Alright, so just as in the healthcare reform bill, it doesn't apply to the government, it just applies to the private sector, us, the common people. And that's wrong. I believe, and it's not really a belief, it's just the right thing to do for government, no matter what bill that they propose, to have all of the population of America be included in on any changes that are made. You know, why should we have a government that is going to exclude themselves from the general populace? Alright, the government just as well go form their own little country, or everybody just migrate that's in the government to Washington, D.C., move all the private sector out of there and just let them bicker and make their own little laws and live in a little bubble of government ruled bickering and passing laws that are so stupid that you don't even know what to do. Anyway, that's enough on that. But as far as the healthcare reform goes, like I said, I'm not going to go into details about what's in it. Everybody's heard it out there. One thing that I find very frustrating as far as that topic goes is that I hear some of these radio talk show hosts talking to people in general, just like call-ins about what they think, and then they'll argue with them. They're against it, but then the person says, well, they're against it, and then they flip the script. And I know it's all about controversy and ratings and getting your dandruff up and all this other stuff, but one of them I found very funny the other day. He was like, so what are you going to do whenever something, do you like your insurance? Well, good. And he was like, well, why are you getting all pissed off at me? I thought we were in agreement. Well, if you think we're in agreement, you're crazy. And, as far as me, I know my health. I did it to myself. I have type 2 diabetes. I'm overweight. I need to watch what I eat and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, that's your answer right there. If you would just discipline yourself to get in halfway good shape, you could get rid of that. I remember there was a time, and if I showed you a picture of it, man, everybody out there would shit to know. Look, I looked like freaking Pizza the Hut about 4 years ago. And, yeah, I probably did have type 2 diabetes because, the bottom of my feet was all cracked and bleeding and, all that crap that happens whenever you have that. And I probably did have it. But I didn't go to no doctors or anything like that. I just, one day I just said, look, something's got to give because I just feel like shit. And so I got myself back in shape. Now, am I in optimal condition these days? No. I could hit the gym and hit the cardio a little heavier than I do and exercise more. But for the most part, for my build, I think, I'm pretty sexy. A little extra weight is not bad because actually that's healthy in some aspects of people's lives. And that is scientifically proven. There was just a study that was released here not too long ago that says if you're between 25 and 30% body fat, it's okay. That's actually healthy. And people that are, below the 20 down to the 15 and the 10 mark are more prone to some certain type of sicknesses, which I'm not going to even go into detail. You can go read that study yourself. So yeah, there's one thing that's a frustration is, they'll sit there and argue the point that they're for healthcare or against healthcare, but then they'll turn around and say, well, there's some things that I could do to make myself healthier. And I just don't understand it. If we in our minds and we in our own personal lives know the answer, but yet we won't act on the things that we know, then why in the world do we want a government that can't even run itself, let them run our health? You get what I'm saying? It's just kind of stupid. The next thing that I want to talk about as far as the media goes is that, for a little while, and it's not because of Fox News, and there's going to be a couple of people that I mentioned off of Fox News, I guess because that's the main talk show channels that we have down here. I listen to WWL, the Big 870 out of New Orleans, and I also listen to 104.9, I think down in Biloxi here. And WWL has their own private shows anymore. They don't have any syndicated. And the 104 has the syndicated ones. Well, I got to listen to Glenn Beck whenever he started coming on the radio, probably about 2 years ago. That's when they picked him up from the 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock show. And for a long time there, he made a lot of valid points and a lot of points that could be verified. Here anymore, I'd say especially in the past 6 months, he sounds like an evangelist on a mission to save your soul. That's all he's doing is preaching and trying to get people to follow him. He doesn't give a shit about the general populace. Alright, it's kind of like Obama runs his mouth. Glenn Beck don't do nothing but run his mouth to get you to follow him. And it's ridiculous. Talk show hosts like that, they don't even have talent anymore. All he does is sit there and he spoofs out and he says bridging the entertainment and the politics into a new whatever his little slogan is. That's what I got to say to that, because I'm over it. Like I said, especially in the past month, he's just going apeshit, man. I think I'm listening to Joel Osteen rather than I am a political talk show host such as Glenn Beck. I mean, it just sounds like a preacher. And then you move on to the almighty Rush Limbaugh, the Maharishi. Now, he is in his own little universe, okay? He cares, but at the same time, he cares, okay? If you know what I mean. And that's all he's about, the dollar and ratings and all that. But at least he doesn't just stay on the healthcare subject. So I can handle him a little bit. The other person that needs to get a life that doesn't really talk about healthcare much, or as much as he should, or other subjects, is